Attention WFIA members, the virtual 2024 WFI convention will be this fall from September 13th through September 15th, 2024. Scheduled to appear are the world's strongest man, Ken Patera, the world's most dangerous announcer, Gary Michael Capetta, Bill Apter, and just recently signed the High Flyers, Jumpin', Jim Brunzell, and Greg Gagne. And folks, there's more coming on board. So run, don't walk to your keyboard. Get on that computer. Check the WFIA.org website and our Facebook page to see when these guys are going to be scheduled and their prices. Folks, if you are not a WFIA member, you will be paying an additional fee. So go to the WFIA.org today and register, become a member, and enjoy the podcast.
All right, everybody, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Wire Radio here on ProWrestlingWire.com. This is Rick Del Santo. Joining me this week, I've got a very special guest in, Mr. Everything, Victor Andrews. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. I want to say thank you for having me on. Like you just said a while ago, we've been following each other on TikTok for a very long time. I'm glad we got a chance to have this interview.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've actually wanted to have you on for a while, but then I stopped podcasting for almost a year. So I reignited the podcast back in February. And then some reason I took another break for another month. And then just wasn't matching up.
Sometimes we need those little mental breaks. That's it.
Well, I'm also, I do a lot of stuff involving professional wrestling, such as I commentate for several different independents as well. So traveling and being busy on the weekends, sometimes the time for podcasting is just not there. But I've been trying to keep up with it. Obviously, as a performer, you're probably busy just about every single weekend.
Yeah, man, listen, every single weekend and every single day. I don't think I ever have a day to myself.
Yeah. It's rough because, I got a family. I know you have a family as well. So it's, I bring my youngest son with me. He's 8 years old. And now it's something that he's literally fallen in love with is professional wrestling. So a lot of times it shows that I work at, he gets the opportunity to get in the ring and work out a little bit and work the ropes, I guess you can say.
Absolutely. I tell you what, if we ever get a chance to, I want to be on the same show. My son does the same thing. He actually walks me to the ring. He's my little manager. He has his own ring gear. We should definitely let our sons meet and let them get in there and see what kind of magic they can make.
Absolutely. No, it's did you really grow up in New York? No, that's what I found. You did grow up in New York. What part of New York did you grow up at?
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in a project called Brownsville.
Okay, that's like an hour from me, probably. I've used to go to Brooklyn quite a lot, for punk rock shows and stuff like that back in the day. So it's I like Brooklyn, and then of course whatever WWE and stuff like that nowadays. But so what was it like growing up in New York?
Oh man, it was tough. You know what I'm saying? Like we lived in Brownsville. It's a tough project where the narrative was either going to be a sanitation worker or a drug dealer in order to really make a living for yourself.
Right.
My mom, she worked very hard. I didn't have my dad growing up. I didn't meet my dad. I met him when I was a kid. Last time I saw him when I was a kid was probably about 7 years old. And then I didn't see him again until 24, 25. I just happened to find him, through Google and connected with him. And then after that little small connection, I just it ain't no point in me even knowing you at this point because you're showing me that you didn't want to be there. It wasn't nobody's animosity or anything like that. You just didn't want to be there. But it was good. Like my mom, she was amazing. My mom was an amazing mom. She made sure we had whatever we needed. She would go out there and work 3-4 jobs. She's an amazing woman. Like I owe so much to her in my life and beyond my life to give back to her. That's why I work so hard to give back to her and provide for my kids and, show them exactly how to live a better life and not have to go through the struggles that I went through.
Right. And now you guys, where are you based now? North Carolina?
Yes, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay. What brought you down there?
So my mom decided to move here in '97, right after
Okay.
my first year of high school. And
Okay.
we were here for a while and I hated it. I just despised it because it was like complete country, like moving a man from the projects of I can go across the street to the grocery store and go to the store and get a slice of pizza, Chinese restaurant, like everything's right there. And then you
Right.
move to North
Right.
Carolina and the closest thing is 5 to 10 miles and you got to catch a cab to get there,
Right. Right.
and it was a huge difference, man. Huge culture shock. I mean, from being able to play out in a park right there in front of the building to there's no parks around, and you got to go to the nearest school to be able to enjoy yourself. To my first time seeing a Ku Klux Klan rally going down the road, like bananas, man, bananas. But we moved here. My mother felt like it would be a better life. Uh, I can't say whether it was or wasn't. I'm still here, so it did something. And then after I graduated high school, I went to the military for a couple of years. Got released out of there, and then I got married. That didn't go very well. I moved back to New York, lived there for a while up in Bed-Stuy. Then moved back to North Carolina to be closer to my oldest daughter, who's 18 now, getting ready to graduate high school. Man, these kids are killing me. They're driving me
That's
crazy.
I've got five of my own and then three stepkids. So there's eight altogether. I get you. I totally get you.
Yes.
My stepson's about to graduate high school and go to a college. Needless to say, we're very happy that he's leaving to go to college because he's been this last year he's been the ultimate pain in the ass, if you will.
I understand that. My daughter's a gymnast, so she does more traveling than I do. And it's
Yeah,
harder for us to keep up with each other. I'm like, hey, where you at? And then it's like, I'm over here, man. I'm over here. Like we're on different sides of the country every time. So
yeah,
it gets tough. But my kids are amazing, man. And I keep
yeah.
doing this because of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, my stepson is also an athlete. He's played basketball since he was a kid. And he decided when we moved to this town 2 years ago, decided to play football. So he did 2 years of football and then track. So mind you, he's traveled. He went all the way down to Puerto Rico to play basketball for a tournament and stuff like that. He's been played like
Nice.
AAU ball. Like it's expensive on the parent. So
Yeah.
it's just crazy
Yeah.
and it's stressful.
Trust and believe. I
Yeah.
understand. Totally understand.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your wrestling career or your athletic career. I do see that you have a history in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and boxing as well.
Absolutely. So funny thing. So I started boxing around 2005, 2006, and I went to do it as a method of anger management.
Okay.
Because I felt like I just had a lot of anger built up from my father not being there and different things I've experienced in my life, from losing a child very early, different things. And I went to this gym and I met this lady. Her name was Bonnie Mann. She's a world class, world champion. She's worked with the WBC, everything. And I went in there and I told her, I said, I want to, release some anger, release some stress. I want to be able to feel like I'm improving myself. And I went in there and started learning the different techniques and stuff like that. And I ended up getting more angry. Like I went in there to get release anger, and I ended up getting more angry because I found out that I was really good at it and I was
Right.
enjoying it. And so, being that I was really good at it and I was enjoying it, I wanted to do it correctly. And every time I would mess up, I would get mad. And I'll never forget the first time I had the opportunity to spar in a ring. And I thought it was just like you see on TV. It's a regular boxing match. You get in there and try to
Right.
knock each other's heads off. And my ex-wife, she had this ability to really like piss me off sometimes, like just make me mad. Just wouldn't anything. So I called her up and I said, "Hey, say something to make me mad." Because I figure if I go into the ring mad and angry, I'd be able to just beat the guy and get out of there. It won't be no bumps or bruises. So
Right.
I called
Right.
her. I said, "Hey, do something to make me mad." She said, "What?" I said, "Just say something to make me mad." She's like, "What do you want me to say?" I said, "I don't care. Just say something." I don't want to say. I said, "Just say something." Never mind. Bye. Click. It was just that easy. And then I got in the ring and I started boxing with the guy, and I'm swinging like for the fences. I'm hitting him with haymakers, and he's like, "Hey man, calm down, relax. Like we're trying to work together." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm still doing it, wham, 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 just hitting him. He's like, "Man, calm down." So, "Oh, okay." And I went to go through a really big one, and he saw it coming, and he ducked and hit me right in the ribs. And I swear, brother, that was the last time I ever swung at somebody like that with malice, because it was just like I swung it, and as soon as it got my arms just felt like this. And I was looked at him, and I was like, "Come here, come here, man, just give me a hug, bro. Just I've been going through a lot." It went from a boxing session to a Dr. Phil session. Like I'm going through a lot. The kids, my baby, she's just doing it all over the place, and the pampers are getting expensive, and he was like, "Oh, I understand, man." And then he told me, he said, "If you're in here and you're sparring with somebody and you hurt the person that you're sparring with, who do you have left to spar with?"
Right.
And that resonated with me. I was like, you know what? He's absolutely right. Like I don't know what I was thinking. I know what I was thinking. I was thinking I'd get in there and knock the guy out, but it don't work like that. So after that, after boxing, I went back to New York and I did Golden Gloves tournament for New York Daily News, and I lost in the first round by 1 point by somebody who had a bigger name than I did, and that's pretty much why he won, because he had a bigger name than I did. So after a while, I did just sparring here and there in different gyms. I was sparring with guys that was 200-300 pounds, and I was running through them. I was only 150 pounds, and then I got bored because I wasn't getting any fights. So I was just like, just this is fun. I love the training aspect, but it's boring. I'm not doing anything. And then Lady Lee out in New Jersey, she actually introduced me to the professional wrestling aspect. She said, "Look, you're not getting any fights. You want to try wrestling?" I was like, "Absolutely." And so she took me up to New Jersey, to Union City, New Jersey for Ace Pro Wrestling with Mike Morgan. And I started training out there. And then when I came back to North Carolina, I got up on the C.W. Anderson, started training with him. Along with all that, I did some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with Scott Swishaw out in Revolution mixed martial arts in Clayton, North Carolina. And I've been doing all this ever since, man. 15 years in.
Were you a wrestling fan at all growing up?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
My biggest, the superstar I love the most is The Undertaker. Like
Okay.
I'm a big fan of The Undertaker. I had my moments with the Hulk Hogan's and the Ultimate Warriors and the Roddy Pipers, but the minute Undertaker hit the scene, that was it. Shawn Michaels is great. Eddie Guerrero is great. Undertaker, that's the man. That's always been the man for me. And it's funny because I would always say, one day I'm gonna meet him. One day I'm gonna meet him. And I worked for WrestleMania. I want to say it's WrestleMania 39. Is that the one that Kofi Kingston won?
Now there's
38,
35 in New Jersey.
35,
Yeah,
35. Yes.
I was there for that. Yeah.
And I was working as an extra, and I
Okay.
was sitting in catering, and I'm very picky about what I eat, right?
Okay.
So I had a ham and cheese sandwich, a bag of Doritos, and I had me a Pepsi because I'm really picky. And I'm sitting there, and Undertaker walked through the door, and I'm looking, and I'm like, "Yo, that's the Undertaker." Like he just had on some jeans, plain black shirt, hair pulled back, hat. But when he walked through the door, I saw the smoke, the jacket, the gong, the music. I saw everything. I saw the whole mystique. He was just walking in, and he's making his plate, and I'm like, "Yo, I hope he sits next to me. I hope he sits next to me. I hope he sits next to me." And then I looked at my plate, and I realized I had a school lunch sitting in front of me like a little child. And then I was like, "I hope he don't sit next to me. I hope he don't sit next to me," because I didn't want to be embarrassed of sitting there eating a ham and cheese sandwich. And he sat next to me, and I was like, "Hello, Mr. Undertaker." And he said, "Oh, just call me Mark." I was like, inside, I was like, "So they call him Mark." I was like, "Okay, well, my name is Roosevelt." And I sat and talked to him for a little bit. And then Kane came and sat at the table with us. And I was like, "Oh, wow, this is cool. Like, I got the Brothers of Destruction sitting here at the table with me." And then Big Show sat there. And I was like, "Oh, wow, like, I got all of them." Then I was like, these guys got grown men, big size plates of food sitting in front of them. And I still have my son's school lunch sitting in front of me. I think I'll go ahead and just leave. Like,
So it was a one of those mark out moments, basically. That when you got
Yes,
yes,
but I kept it internal. I kept my professionalism. Well, yeah,
yeah,
how you guys doing? Yeah, it's a nice day today, huh?
yeah, yeah. So you mentioned C.W. Anderson. How did you get to train with him and such?
Well, so I did a show called ICW in Smithfield, North Carolina, and it was
Okay.
these three guys, big, huge guys. You've got to meet these guys. They're called the Gorilla Squad. It's Ali Steele, Michael Devine, and D Mac. And when I say these 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", the smallest guy 300 pounds, the largest guy
Jeez.
370.
Wow.
And I was sitting in the locker room, and I was bent over and I was tying my boots. And they walked into the locker room, and when they did, they like they casted a shadow, like the room went dark, and I was like, "The hell?" And I looked up, and I was like, "Oh wow, they got some nice security. Like these big boys, ain't nobody gonna mess with them." And then I found out not only were they wrestlers, but they were my opponents for the night.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I don't know if you follow like anime or anything, but I'm a big
No.
Dragon Ball Z fan.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I'm
I'm
familiar
big
with.
into
I am.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that a little bit. My kids were into that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I have a mentality like Goku, where I'm feeling like I always want to exceed my limits. I want to get in the ring with the strongest and everybody that's better than me, so that way I can test my ability and exceed my limits and get better than them. So when I saw these three guys and they were huge, I was like, "Yo, I want to pick these guys up. I want to pick them up and see if I can slam them." And I'm only like 150 pounds. I'm like, I think I could do it. And after a couple of shows, we did the match. Of course, they ran through me like I was just playtime at the Apollo or something. And we're sitting there, and I was talking to him, and he was like, "Man, you got a lot of good athleticism, you got a lot of talents, or whatever. What's your goal?" And I said, "My goal is to make it to WWE." And I was like, "Well, if that's what you want to do, let's polish you up. Let's introduce you to somebody." So they introduced me to CW, and CW just took me under his wing and showed me everything I needed to know in terms of just getting better and just sharpening everything that I had. And we've been training together for 13, 14, about 13 years.
Wow.
And it went from me training under him to us training each other, because the way I think outside the box in terms of combat fighting, boxing, MMA, grappling, professional wrestling, he likes how I incorporate that with the professional wrestling. And he comes and says, "Yo, just show me some things." We've got a chance to work with Brock Anderson and Arn Anderson. And even Arn Anderson was like, "Yo, you got it. Like you have the mindset of an Anderson. And I can honestly say that I'm learning some things from you that I've never thought about before," which is a huge honor for somebody like that to say to me. But it's been dope.
Arn is here's a fun fact. I guess I revealed this on episode I did over the weekend that Arn Anderson's my favorite wrestler of all time. So anytime I hear stories about Arn, you always get a thumbs up. So there you go, thumbs up. So good.
It's amazing because because CW he trained Lodi.
Right.
Lodi is one of his students. So we went up to Lodi's school in Charlotte, and CW told me, he was like, "Yo, Arn is going to be there, Brock is going to be there. I want you to work with me and Brock because we can ready to start tagging." And this is right before they started becoming tag team. I said, "Okay, cool." And we get there, and I'm showing them different things, and I'm kind of meshing their two styles together. And then we worked a little quick tag match, and then I was kind of talking to the guys like, "Okay, think about this, think about that. Think outside the box with this. Never say that you got lost in the match because it's a fight. So how do you get lost in a fight? You're either gonna punch a guy, kick him, or grab him. Those are your only three options." Um, so we sitting there, we're talking, and I start talking about different things, and Arn stood up as I was standing in the ring talking, and CW was like, "Vic." So I turn around and I see Arn. So, "Oh, Mr. Anderson, you want to add something?" He was like, "No, I'm listening and I'm learning." I was like, "Okay, cool. I don't need to do nothing else ever in my career." Arn Anderson said he learned something from me. That's it for me. Hey, you can keep all the contracts you want. I got that. I got ceiling food from that man. That's it.
Did you follow him? I mean, you're a few years younger than me, I believe. Did you follow him at all? Did you get to see him wrestle originally during his run?
Yes. Very little. I was always WWE,
Yeah,
or WWF at the time. I didn't really follow WCW too much.
right.
Maybe if someone had said something like at school, like, oh, Sting is doing this, or or if you
Yeah,
saw like if I saw one of the wrestlers leave WWE and go over there, I was like, okay, well, why are they over there? Let me see what they're doing over there, type of thing. But other than that, I did follow Arn a little bit with the whole Anderson group. Um, and he's been like his whole demeanor and how he carries himself made me work even harder, especially training under somebody like C.W. Anderson, who carries that whole demeanor as well. And I was like, you know what? If I'm not going to do anything else in this business, I'm at least going to honor the Anderson name, whether I carry the name or
right. Okay. So you, from what I understand, you trained a little bit with Steve Corino. Is this true? Any truth to this?
Yes, just a couple of things, just if I saw him somewhere at a show, but I actually worked a couple of shows for him. He's
With
running
a
PWF.
right.
And,
Yeah.
he called me up one day and he's like, hey man, I need you and this guy to be a tag team and come in and just be like my top hero tag team. I was like, whatever you need. So I just kind of went in there, and anytime I would have opportunity to, I would just pick his brain about different things, ask him about psychology, my character, how I should carry myself in terms of personality, just different things. And he was always say, Vic, you got it. And I'm like, yeah, cool, that's cool, but how should I do this better? Vic, you got it. Like that's always been Steve's mindset. And like now he runs a company called Crystal Coast Championship Wrestling.
Right.
And he says all the time, it is not a Steve Corino show if I'm not booked on it. And I'm like, cool, but what can I do better?
I think so you made a WWE appearance
Mhm.
working with Bobby Lashley. This is kind of a sort of a comical skit, if you will.
Yeah.
Now I saw this today while doing some research for this episode. It was who was it? It was Bobby Lashley and who? Now I'm drawing a blank.
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, correct. Okay.
Mhm.
What was it like being in that character and working with these two gentlemen?
It was the most hilarious thing I've ever done. And people would always ask me, were you nervous? Like how nervous were you to do that? I've never been nervous in professional wrestling, whether it was
Really?
on WWE, NXT. I've never been nervous, and not to be too forward, but the main reason why is because I've done modeling and I've done nude modeling.
Oh,
Like I've done nude in front of an art class. So if
okay.
I can stand in front of a bunch of strangers I don't even know in a complete nakedness, everything else is easy. you know. So we get to the venue, and me and the other two guys, one being Max Caster on AEW, we were selected. Like we were casted for that role.
Right.
And when we first started out, Sammy was like, this is what I want you guys to do. And this is when he was doing the whole yep and nope movement, copying off of Daniel Bryan. He was like, I don't want you guys to do any women's voices. I don't want any mannerisms because we don't want to offend anybody. I'm gonna ask you a yes or no question. You just respond, and that's it. And he was like, okay. So we picked out our outfits, worked out whatever we were going to do in the ring. And I want to say like an hour to an hour and a half before showtime, Vince McMahon says, hey, you know what I want? I want this one, that one to shave their beards. And they're going to put makeup on. And then that one, talking about Max, keep his mustache. That's going to be funny. A woman with a mustache. Yeah. And then, you guys going to talk and you're going to have women's voices. I want the whole shebang. And I was like, okay, getting paid for it.
Yep.
Whatever. The man said that's what he wants. Give him what he wants, right? And I had a tendency of carrying my clippers with me because my mindset is if I can offer a service as a barber, that's another way to get in the door. So I
Right.
had my clippers with me. I went and I shaved and they did the makeup and I had long dreadlocks. So they pulled my hair up for me and all this craziness. And we got in the ring and we did that thing. And the people booed so bad because they just hated it. It was like, yo, this is the dumbest thing. And I just like, you know what? It may be dumb, but I'm on TV and I'm getting a really good paycheck for it. And at the end of the day, this is still one of the most talked about segments in WWE history. So at least I have that under my belt.
I mean, I don't see much wrong with it. I mean, you're getting the opportunity to be on in the largest organization in the planet when it comes to professional wrestling. And I don't care what anybody says, when you get into the business of professional wrestling, that is your goal. You might not admit it, but that is your goal because it's something you saw on WWE TV.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was like my second appearance there. My first appearance was on NXT. I did a tag match. It was Heavy Machinery versus me and Lars Sullivan. And that match was so much fun. Like I really enjoyed myself. I mean, from the welcoming that I had coming into the NXT arena, to the Performance Center, to the guys just being willing to help out and give advice and just be approachable and just coaching. It was amazing, man. Yeah, any opportunity I've ever had at WWE has been amazing. I've never had a bad situation.
To close out the WWE portion, I guess, of this, you also took on Veer.
Yes, took on Veer Mahan, my milk brother is what I call him. that's my milk brother, and we was discussing the match beforehand, and we just sat there and just kind of shoot the breeze, and we both found out that we love drinking milk, like regular whole milk. And we were talking, I was like, yeah, I gotta have milk and cookies before I go to bed to kind of calm myself down. He was like, me too. And we just, that was it. Like, it was the most funny and just relaxed moment with us just talking about how we like cookies and milk. And we had Adam Pearce and Shane Helms standing there looking at us like, what is wrong with these guys? These two grown men talking about milk and cookies. Like, all right, like whatever. So yeah, it was fun, man. It was right here in Greensboro, North Carolina, too.
Yeah. So I do have another question. So you did work AEW as well in a 6-man tag.
Yes.
Well, how was your experience then? That was for AEW Dark against Best Friends and Chuck Taylor.
It was good. It was good.
Mean,
it got me
Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Excuse me. Forget. Yeah. I messed up that line. Sorry.
It was good. It gave me an opportunity to catch up with a lot of different guys. Arn was there at the time, so I got a chance to talk to him. William Regal was there during that time, and I got a chance to catch up with him because I met him a couple of times. He's one of those guys who would just come up to you and pull all the extras and kind of let you sit under his learning tree and ask him any kind of questions. Like, he's a phenomenal guy who really loves helping the business. Like, I've never met anybody who says, I'm taking all these people, y'all not doing anything with them, and I'm going to sit there and have a conversation with them and let them learn whatever they want. Give me a chance to catch up with Jay Lethal, who's a really good friend of mine. And just kind of shoot the breeze. And I saw Max Caster and we caught up just a little bit. So I loved it, man. I would love to have another opportunity there.
I remember you just mentioned Jay Lethal. I remember he used to work small little indies here in Connecticut all the time when he was just starting out. And it was pretty, so it's a pretty amazing how far he's actually come in the business.
Absolutely.
It really is. So it's because I used to see him in his earliest days. So it's pretty awesome. You recently challenged for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship against Kerry Morton.
Yes.
Tell me about work. Tell me about work. Oh, that's true. That's when he was a champion. That's right. Tell me about working with Kerry. And would the NWA be an opportunity for you that you'd take?
Absolutely. I'm always trying to reach out to the NWA. I'm reaching out to any company. Anybody's going to be willing to take care of me and I can make a really good living with this, I'm all for it. Kerry is a phenomenal athlete. He's an amazing guy, amazing kid. And it's funny, I am his favorite wrestler. Like, Ricky came to me and he was like, you're Kerry's favorite. This is when he was a kid. Like, he was like just going around and riding with his dad and being in locker rooms. And Ricky came to me one day and he said, Kerry started training. I was like, oh, good. That's what's up. Like, following on his dad. He said, no, he started training because you inspired him. I was like, you're Ricky Morton. I'm like, how does that work?
Legendary
He's
father.
like, yeah. He was like, he just ever since he saw you wrestle, he's been wanting to get into it. And then when we had the match, it was like full circle type of thing. It
Right.
was me being able to step in the ring with somebody who watched me grow, and him stepping in the ring with somebody who watched him grow. And it was fun. It was so much fun. It was my second attempt at getting the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. I've actually, the first time I competed for it was against Chase Owens when he was the NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. That was in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Really.
So anytime I can get another opportunity, I think Kobe Carino is the current champion right now.
Nope. He
No?
lost that about at least on TV about 2 weeks ago, I think, on TV. To
Wow.
Joe Alonzo won it. So who's
Okay.
an amazing talent, I think. I think that guy geez, I'm not, are you familiar with him at all?
A little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's a bright young talent. To watch him and finally win the NWA junior title, and it was pretty damn exciting. I got to tell you that much. I'm a huge NWA fan. From from Jim Crockett days all the way to today. It's something I've always supported and loved. So, yep.
Yeah.
So you get to work UPWA quite often. I've seen that in a lot of match lists that I've seen, and you've, if I remember correctly, you've battled with Jake Logan in a steel cage match as well.
Yes. Yes. Jake Logan, the guy who likes to let everybody know that he's Jake Logan. A phenomenal talent, man. He's a hard worker. He's exceptional. He was actually the youngest NWA champion or something. Like he won something in NWA as well. And I think he
Mhm.
was like the youngest champion that they had. Amazing guy. He actually was chasing him to get my title back from him. And the last match we had was the ladder match. Oh, not a ladder match, the cage match. And anytime me and him get a chance to step in the ring is always an amazing thing. Like we just elevate each other each time, and we're always trying to exceed the last match. Like, okay, this is where we was at the last match. Let's take it up here. All right, this is where we got. Let's go up here. Just pushing each other to beyond our limits is an amazing thing. It's so much fun to have somebody that can actually push you in the
Mhm.
ring because you get booked on so many different shows. Most times you are the guy to bring somebody else up. So to have somebody that says, "Yo, I'm going to push you to this limit, and I want you to push me to this limit, and let's keep climbing up and up the ladder," is so much fun.
So you also work for I'm guessing that there's an interpromotional feud now apparently between School of Morton and Ring Wars Carolina. All right, and your Team Morton. I do. I was going to wear my School of Morton shirt tonight. I actually forgot to grab because I knew that you had worked there, and I watch the. I know there's stuff streaming, so I watch it quite frequently. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I watch a lot of the stuff from the South as opposed to stuff from the Northeast. Okay,
Okay.
Southern style wrestling is my favorite style of wrestling because I think that I like traditional style wrestling, and when you start getting away from that kind of stuff, then it just kind of irks me, I guess, if you will. So,
Right.
tell me about the feud, I guess.
Yeah. So when I first started, I was always with North Carolina. I've worked with them for years, and then
Right.
when they didn't need anything else from me, I started working with School of Morton, and have had amazing opportunities from great matches to opportunities to training some of the guys and becoming one of the head trainers there. And so this feud that's getting ready to happen is, it's kind of a long time coming because we had a couple of guys who came from North Carolina to School of Morton and kind of do some matches here and there. I've actually brought some of the guys in, and then we've had some guys come from School of Morton and go over to North Carolina. And the general manager of Green Wars, Dexter, happened to say, I can put my locker room against anybody, including School of Morton. So that kind of grabbed my attention. Like, you do know I'm part of School of Morton, right? Like, who on your roster is actually going to be able to stand toe to toe with me? Let's think about that.
Right.
Like, I would be the boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be the final boss in this whole equation. Because I would just give you this guy, this guy, this guy. And they can take care of the guys. and whoever's left, I'll give you this one, this one, this one, and they can take care of you guys. And then if it's, I don't care if it's Eddie McCoy, Eddie Brown. I don't care if it's nice Eddie Brown. He happens to come out over time and say, you know what, I'll step up. Then I'll put Eddie down. You know, I'll run through the whole roster, no problem.
Let's see. Hang on, I just lost my notes. Okay. As I mentioned before, I think I mentioned before I watched you. I saw you in APW, which they run out of West Virginia mostly, but they do several different states, right?
Right now they're just doing West Virginia. They get ready to try to branch out and venture off, but right now it's just West Virginia.
They actually have a regular TV down in that area. Actually, several different states. They get TV out of New York as well on the station that this very program is also featured on. So, so that's how I discovered them. I think that's a pretty good product right there. They got guys like the Cuban Assassin and guys like that. What do you think about working there?
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I worked with Joe Brody years ago, and you know, just kind of doing a couple of things with him here and there. And he reached out to me late last year, and he said, "Hey man, you know, I would love for you to come and work a couple shows. Let's see how it goes. Not a problem, you know. Let's make some things happen." And the first show I went out there and I worked Lance Erickson, and
Right.
the crowd reaction to what we put on that night was just amazing. To where, you know, it's a small little area. It's like a little fire department, so there's not a big capacity that you can really fill up.
Right.
And I want to say they may have had like 30 people in the crowd. It went from 30 to 200 instantly because of what we were putting on, the product we were putting on, and the matches that we were having. You know, we had like guys like AC Divine and Dynamite Jackson, Pure Temptation. We had Merrick Donovan. We had Manny Lowe. You know, these are all guys that I brought there. Sean Cruz. Those all guys that I brought there. And we just kind of like, yo, we get in and bang with anybody. They had Cuban Assassin. They've had Bobby Yella, Chase Bennett, Scott Storm, Scott Lee, Tony Ray, all these different guys. And everybody just kind of get in there and just, you know, put on a really good product. I think their market is like in like 3 or 4 states right now. I want to say they're in North Carolina, West Virginia, New York, and I think that in Kentucky. I think they had one in Kentucky as well.
Yeah. I believe
so
that.
It's fun, man. It's so much fun. I mean, and now they're doing like house shows. You know, we're kind of venturing out of the fire department and doing some house shows here and there, and man, it's growing substantially.
It's one of the very few promotions that I'm aware of that runs a weekly program, like a weekly live program, like, you know, not TV, but program, like where people can attend, which I find interesting because a lot of times indies can't really afford to do stuff like that. You know, they run maybe once a month or bi-monthly. There's a lot of groups up here that run bi-monthly. And I find it interesting that groups still work once a week. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and Joe makes it work. He really makes it work, and we got a good team of guys that help him. You know, it's not just him just doing everything on his own, which he tries to do so many times. But we tell you, yo, just dial it back, bro. You don't have to do it by yourself. You got all of us that's willing to help you. So that's how we able to keep it going every week.
Where else do you currently work regularly on a regular basis?
USA Main Event. Currently the champion for that company. Square Circle Championship Wrestling. I'm the champion for that company. SOAR out in Dallas, Texas, the OIWA, Chaotic Kingdom in Arkansas, Sue down in Arkansas. Just started working with APW Bowling Springs in South Carolina. AIWF. I'm right now the AIWF World Shootfighting Champion. In fact, I have all the titles right here, and I'm gonna run them down for you. And this has got to be the most tedious thing about wrestling. Because I don't know what I did to make everybody just be like, yeah, here you go, here you go, here you go. It was like Oprah just giving away titles because I got all kinds of championships. So right now I have the USA Main Event Heavyweight Championship. This is the old title.
Okay.
When the promoter went and got this title, the brand new one, he gifted this one to me to keep forever. He said, when
That's
I took
nice.
over the company, I knew that you would be the guy. You're going to be the last one to hold this title. So this is now mine forever. And I'll be able to put it on my mantle and my kids can talk about it to their kids and so on and so forth. So this is the USA Main Event Heavyweight Championship right here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Beautiful belt. Yeah.
Very beautiful and heavy too.
Yeah.
Then I have the Gouge Junior Heavyweight Championship. This one right here is in Raleigh, North Carolina. And that's run by Count Grog, who used to have a developmental program for WWE way back in the day, which is very interesting. This right here is the NICW Heavyweight Championship. This is part of the APW in West Virginia.
Yep.
Let's see. Then there's the AIWF World Shootfighting Championship. It's borderline like a pancrase style of
Right.
professional wrestling. And then I have the SOAR World Heavyweight Championship. And this one is out of Dallas, Texas. And that one is run by Sir Mo from Man on the Mission.
Okay.
And that's it. And then the SEC Heavyweight Championship, but the promoter keeps the belt with him.
Let's talk a little bit about the AIWF because this actually starting very shortly. This podcast, amongst other things, is going to also be on the AIWF network. As I am in constant communication with guys like Matt and Rick, and I've unofficially become the Northeast correspondent, as one of the groups that I work with is going to be host one AIWF title, and as of June 1st, we'll be crowning another AIWF champion. And then out of Holyoke, Massachusetts, and there's another group that's actually part of the AIWF called Bay State Championship Wrestling. So maybe you'll make your way up here with that title at some point. Maybe.
I would love to.
I don't know if you've ever worked Connecticut before.
Not Connecticut. I've worked Rhode Island and Massachusetts.
Okay. So you're the World Shootfighting Champion. Tell us about capturing that championship.
It was a surprise to me. Because Matt reached out to me very last minute. He said, "Hey man, I got an opportunity for you. I would love for you to go and compete for the AIWF World Shootfighting Championship against JAC, Jesse Alexander Carter, who is an amazing talent." And I said, "Yeah, man, what's the plan?" So we go out there and see who wins. And I went out there, and this is my very first AIWF title. Like, I've competed for the Cruiserweight Championship when it first got its installment. And this is the second title I've ever competed for in the AIWF. So actually hold a belt in this company is an amazing thing.
So do you compete regularly for AIWF branded shows besides where you won that?
When I first really started,
Okay.
early in my career, when I first started, I was always AIWF out there in my area, with Rick Diesel.
Right.
And, as I started growing, the company started growing, it's either I was too booked up or I was unavailable or they just didn't have anything available. So it was always a hit and miss type of thing. So having this opportunity and being available to be able to go and do it, is kind of right on time for me.
Right. Crap, I forgot what I was going to say regarding the World Shootfighting Championship. So are you a fan of say shoot fighting, and I guess you are a fan of like that style of shoot wrestling at all? Like, yeah, you were talking about pancrase, you compared that pancrase, and I was a huge fan of that back in the 1990s. That, or are you familiar with like the UWFI and stuff like that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I used to watch that. We used to get the weekly TV here for some reason. It was on New York, which I thought was very bizarre that we got that television channel, that television show. It was probably some of my favorite stuff in the 1990s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you feel about it, but it was pretty interesting. Guys like Gary Albright, Nobuhiko Takada, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
as far as the shoot fighting, I love it, man. I mean, because I have the MMA background, I have the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, I have the boxing background. I'm always keeping my hands, pretty tight and pretty sharp. And part of my training, whenever we're in the ring, during the professional wrestling aspect, I always tell the guys you have to do the shoot grappling every time because I
Yeah.
want you to be able to not only learn how to breathe in that aspect of someone constantly being on top of you and constantly making you moving. You know, you got to be able to defend yourself. You got to be able to learn how to get out of situations and not put yourself in the worst predicament and kind of, just moving around. So I love the aspect of the AIWF shoot fighting title.
You work that style, say the jiu-jitsu and such, into your style of professional wrestling, your style.
Absolutely, yes, and I love doing it because a lot of guys can't figure out what to do when I start doing it. Like they get real nervous, like, oh, well, hey, how am I supposed to get out of this? I don't know. You better figure it out, or you're gonna tap out.
Right. They think you're shooting on them, or
Yeah,
like gonna take.
and it's always safe. I always let them know, like, I'm gonna hold you here until you figure out how to get out of it. Or if I get bored and I just want to put you in something different. So, Dean Malenko was a man of 1,000 holds. Daniel Bryan is a guy that can tie you up and put you in any kind of pretzel. And me, I'm the guy that will make you just rethink your whole life training on what you thought wrestling was.
Right. Who would you say influenced your style? I know you said that you were a huge Undertaker fan, but I don't see that your style based on him.
Early on, I did do some Undertaker type stuff. Like I incorporate like the old school walk across the tightrope on top of the ropes type thing. I used to do the dive. I stopped doing his dive because I had too many accidents where guys wasn't in position, and I was hitting the ground. And I was like, you know what? Unless WWE is asking me to do it, I'm not doing it no more. But as far as like someone inspiring my style, I would have to say, honestly, and it's going to sound crazy, Goku. It's not even a wrestler. It's an anime character. is who it inspires my style because I like to be able to learn as I go.
Right.
It's like a catch wrestling type of style. Like if I'm getting in a ring with somebody I've never been in a ring with, I like to see what they're capable of and learn exactly how to stop it, counter it, and all these different things. So that's pretty much who really inspires my style. It's not even a professional wrestler who
Not even a
inspires me
guy.
how I
Yeah.
work. Yeah, it's not even a real guy. So it's crazy, but it works. And a lot of guys that see me, they're like, "Yo, I can definitely tell. I can definitely tell that's where you got your style from."
Right. Right. What else do you have coming up?
Right now, I'm in a running for the 2024 Men's Health and Fitness competition. We're raising money for childhood cancer.
Okay.
So what it is that everyone's placing votes to kind of get me to be able to be the winner. This year, last year, I made it to the top 10. Right now, we're at the top 15 portion of it. I'm number 7. I'm hoping to win this year. The winner gets $20,000 and a full spread inside of Men's Health magazine, so as well as the front cover. I'm no stranger to being in magazines and front covers, but I would love to have this one. But like I said, it's for a great cause. Anybody who wants to go and vote, they can go to menshealth.com, healthandfitness.com, and vote for Roosevelt. You can do it for free every day. Or if you feel like you got a little greasy in your pockets, you can go pay for votes and you can do that all day, every day. But as far as the free ones, you're going to do it once a day.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Where could everybody, our listeners, find you?
Oh man, I mean, you guys can Google my real name, Roosevelt Conyers, so you can find all kinds of things. You'll find my IMDb, you'll find my TikTok. My TikTok is official _ Mr. Everything. My Instagram is Roosevelt Pro Fighter. I got so many different things coming up. I got a tour coming up for Germany in June. I got a tour coming up in July for the UK. And then in September, I'm going to Canada. Like I'm doing some international things. So if you guys want to see what Mr. Everything's getting ready to be doing the next couple of months and years, follow my Instagram, follow my TikTok. Follow my TikTok because I'm making some really funny videos. Like follow our TikToks, you know what I mean?
It's in a TikTok, so in another way that you could just make a couple extra dollars as well. If you go, you go live, so people go follow his TikTok. Yeah, he makes some good ones. I've been following him for years. Seriously, I didn't ask you about your acting career. You did acting, you did modeling. I didn't get a chance to ask
Oh no, that's
you
fine.
about
That's
any of
fine.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you how did you come about all that stuff?
Oh, that was early on. Like I was about late teens, like 19. I started doing some modeling and some acting,
Okay.
and just moving around, just doing runway. I've been international model of the year. I've been supermodel of the year for different couple companies. I've been in magazines. I got a couple of magazines that are going to come out in the next couple of months that I've done some photo shoots for. I have a movie out on Tubi called A Brother's Turmoil right now. A Brother's Turmoil on Tubi. I am one of the stars of that movie. I have a little movie called A Change Is Coming, and this is about my transition from Mr. Everything, Victor Andrews, to Roosevelt. I'm going to start using my real name in professional wrestling. And the way I came about that was, for 15 years as Victor Andrews, I had some great opportunities. It's about time I give Roosevelt the opportunity to play. And I always tell the guys, if you thought you had a hard time getting in the ring with Victor Andrews, stepping in the ring with Roosevelt is going to be even worse. So take that out on YouTube. It's called Change Is Coming. Check it out. Tell me what you think. I actually produced, choreographed the entire bar fight scene. And what else? I got a TV show called Shift Differential on Tubi. I'm finishing up another movie called I. It's a mental health movie. Shift Differential has a full length movie that's being finished up. So I got a lot of different things coming up, man. And get ready to go into production for some other things too.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want everybody to go check that stuff out. I think we're gonna go hit up Tubi right now after we get out of here. So I saw that you posted something about being on Tubi, so I was like, I wonder what movie it was. I'm glad I remembered to ask you. So
yes, absolutely.
Anyways, I want to thank you for being a part of this show today. So hopefully we can do this again down the road.
Absolutely, I would love to. Thank you for having me. And please, please, no more breaks. Keep doing what you're doing because the main thing is we need somebody like you to be able to voice ourselves. Like there's a lot of fans out there who don't know who I am, and you give us a platform to be able to introduce ourselves to a lot of strangers. So thank you so much, and please, please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much.